Welcome to Algebra 2, Semester 1. This is Unit 2, and we're focusing today on the K-shifts in your notes. So if we look at the K-shifts again, we're back at the attachments of your notes. Go past all the pages that are numbered. And the last video, we wrote down the formula, y equals plus or minus a, parentheses x minus h, parentheses closed, plus k. This k right here, the number that comes after the enclosure with the x, does something in the graphing that we're going to look at today. So if you turn on this page, it's the linear transformation activity page. If you turn to the back side, we're going to do number 6 and number 7. And then we'll do 6 and 7 on all the other pages as well and see what's happening in that transformation. Here we have the x plus 2. That's our k value. Is that plus 2? We just plug in the values. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 0 plus 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you go over and graph those, you'll see what happens to that line. Let's go on down to number 7 and plug in these values. Negative 3 minus 2 this time. Negative 5. Negative 2 minus 2, negative 4. Negative 1 minus 2, negative 3. 0 minus 2, negative 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 0, 1. Go ahead and pause the video and graph those, and then you can come back on and see if your graph looks like mine. So those are the two linear graphs. Just notice how it shifts, the graph there. You may not be able to tell exactly what the shifting is happening on that linear one, so we're going to go over to absolute now. Turn to the back side of absolute to number 6. Again, we have a k-shift of plus 2. So absolute value of negative 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Absolute value of negative 2, 2 plus 2 is 4. The absolute value, or the distance negative 1 is from 0, is 1, plus 2 is 3. Distance 0 to 0 is 0, plus 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when we graph this, now we can kind of see, compared to the parent function, which remember you graphed several lessons ago, over here on the front side, the very top one where it starts at the origin, the vertex is at the origin and it comes out. Now we look at what happens to that vertex when we have the plus 2 on the outside, and you can clearly see the shift that's going on there. I'm not going to give that shift on this video, but if you see that, go ahead and write it in the description. And then tomorrow in class, we're going to discuss those and make sure that you have those correct. So have them all filled out when you come into class. Let's go ahead and do this one. Distance negative 3 is from 0 is 3, minus 2 is 1. Distance 2 is, negative 2 is from 0 is 2, minus 2 is 0. Distance negative 1 is 1, minus 2 is negative 1, 0, minus 2, negative 1, 0, 1. So if we graph this one, now we see a shift right to there. Go ahead and pause that video and do your own graphing and then compare mine with yours. And now you can go ahead and fill in the description on that shift as well, how the vertex is shifting from the parent function to this graph when we simply put the -2 in there. Now that you see it with the absolute value, I welcome you to go back to your linear transformation sheet and go to number 6 and number 7 and write the same description there, because remember the k-value is going to do the same thing in every graph. Let's quickly graph these quadratic functions. We're going to see the same kind of a shift. You could go ahead and fill it in the description if you want. 0 squared plus 2 is 2. -1 squared is 1 plus 2 is 3. So 1 squared plus 2 is 3. -2 squared is 4 plus 2 is 6. And same thing for +2. And then -3 is 9 plus 2 is 11. That one will go off the graph, but these others will not. So we have, there's our vertex. And there's our general shape of the parabola. Again, you're looking at that shift. So make sure you filled in the description. It should be the same on all of these. The k-value gives the same shift. So now we have -1 squared is 1, -2 is -1. -2 squared is 4, -2 is 2. And -3 squared, 9, -2, 7. So let's go ahead and fill in this one. And so once again, you can see the shift. Looking, again, as I said on a previous video, look at where the vertex, that turning point of the graph, is shifting. All points are shifting the same as that, and so that'll give you a nice, clear description. Fill that in for tomorrow in class. Last one is our cubic. Now let's just take a quick look at the cubic parent function. We see we had 3 points right through the origin at a diagonal like that. So if we look at the shifting, it's going to be a +2. My prediction is it's going to shift those 3 points just like that, so that our S shape's going like that. Let's see if that's true. 0 cubed is 0 plus 2 is 2. -1 cubed is -1 plus 2 is 1. 1 cubed is 1 plus 2 is 3. So right there, we get those 3 points, -1, 1, 0, 2, and 1, 3. We'll continue out to get the points to fill in the rest of the S shape. -2 cubed is -8 plus 2 is -6, and 2 cubed is 8 plus 2 is 10. Beyond that, I'm going to go off the graph, so I'm not even going to bother with those points. And so this is my cubic function with the shift of k-value being +2. To the next one, my prediction is that that vertex, that turning point, is going to shift down here to -2. Let's see if that's true. 0 cubed minus 2 is -2. There we go. -1 cubed is -1, minus 2 is -3. 1 cubed is 1, minus 2 is -1, and there we have our 3 points. Negative 8 minus 2 is negative 10. 8 minus 2 is 6. So there's our graph for that. Okay. Now, a little challenging thing that I want you to look at is I want you to look at number 8 on all of these sheets. There's the cubic, the quadratic, the linear, and the absolute value. Number 8, I'd like you to go ahead and guess where that graph might go. Now realize you've got 3 different shifts occurring. You've got a shift up or down, a shift left or right. Then you've got a stretching, and then you've got a reflection. So a lot of things happening. I don't want you to bother yet filling in these numbers unless you just want to challenge yourself and try that. But I want you to just lightly sketch with a pencil where you think that graph is going to be and what shape it is. And have that ready for class, as well as the descriptions on 6 and 7 ready. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow in class. Bye-bye.